Mark Skews, who's your favorite Cenobite in the entire Hellraiser franchise?
My favorite Cenobite is actually Roland at the end.
Oh,
yeah.
This is an interesting pick. Okay.
Because I loved the idea that finally we get an explanation for how humans become Cenobites and why this is so important / just the fact that we closed that movie out with the scene of him basically up there, like, and it was perfect what you said. We don't know whether or not this is the greatest gift he's ever received or the worst experience of his whole life and whatever is coming forward. So many of the movies in this franchise told you that humans become Cenobites, but they don't really go into
why.
Yeah, you don't really feel like, oh my God, there's no visceral feeling there. This one I feel like
Elliot Spencer being like Doug Bradley in Hellraiser 2 being turned
sad.
into it, and it's like, why did they turn? Why are they putting pins in your head? What is happening?
Yeah. So not necessarily so much for the portrayal of Roland, but just more so the idea that
narratively what
That's
it serves.
Right.
Yeah. That's an interesting choice. I appreciate it. I actually thought you were going to pick maybe the female priest. I thought maybe would be your pick. How
about yourself?
My number one. So my runner-up is the Auditor.
Yep.
I think in they talked a few times in this franchise about killing off Pinhead and then or he just goes away somehow and then maybe like Angelique takes up the mantle or Julia becomes the queen of hell. And there were opportunities where at some point you could have had Pinhead take a backseat and somebody else could have taken over.
Yeah.
I think in a better version of this franchise, they did that. They had the balls to just go, Pinhead doesn't need to be on the cover of every one of these goddamn fucking, movies, every one of these, covers. So like, I wish they had the balls to do that. And I think the Auditor would have made for a very unique alternative to Pinhead.
Yeah.
He's not my favorite. I'd say he's the runner-up.
Yeah.
My favorite? I'm very basic on this. It's Part 1, Pinhead and his posse of Cenobites.
Yeah.
That to me is the perfect version of what these Cenobites. You asked me, what are the Cenobites? This is what I think the Cenobites are.
Yeah.
They're not there to pass judgment. They're not agents of hell, including heaven and hell. They're beings from another dimension, another realm, another form of reality out on the edge of our own, some sort of world that our brains can't comprehend, where pain and sensation is a currency. Yeah. It is what they are made of. They don't adhere to our human rules. They have powers that extend beyond our mortal bodies. They're not limited to like what the flesh can and can't do. Yeah. They have wounds that don't heal. They don't need to heal. They don't die from their wounds. Seemingly they can't die. And that there's something so terrifying of these humanoid beings like us, but not us. Not us. And the best version of them is Part 1, where it's just pure mystery.
Yep.
They show up.
So simple, but so effective. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's my favorite. Mark, what is your least favorite Cenobite in the entire series?
Yeah, I tried my best to sort of keep it to myself while we were going through it, but Chenard.
The doctor. Is he? Shit.
That is just that character did so much damage to the Hellraiser mythos and lore and story. If I could change one thing about this franchise, it would be get rid of him.
Get rid of Chenard.
Yeah,
Dr. Chenard.
Dr. Chenard. Like,
Super Cenobite.
Can't stand him.
Yeah.
It defines everything that is so wrong with the worst parts of this franchise. And
where it explains nothing and just things happening.
And it shouldn't exist.
And why does Chenard, like, what makes him special?
How can he just destroy other Cenobites? And how does he get all this power so
What is
quickly?
a Cenobite?
Yep.
Like, no, Chenard kind of sucks.
The fact that it's like the second movie in the franchise too, like it's not.
There's a figure of Chenard too.
Yeah,
they made a figure of him, which is like, he doesn't. It's like a big, like 12-inch fucking thing. He's got such an ugly design too. He's got like tentacles, but like blades come out of the tentacles. it's such a bizarre, ugly mishmash thing. He's like got like a tentacle that like lifts him up.
Yeah.
Like his body is being extended by like a bigger body.
Yeah.
But
he can cut chains as well with his like
when he's got his
snake.
his stupid little fight scene with Pinhead. It's crap.
Yep.
Yeah, no. I have a runner-up.
Yep.
My runner-up is Camera Head from Hellraiser 3.
You know, I was gonna list the Three Musketeers just as a.
Well, I'll say this is a franchise with a lot of lame Cenobites.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lame ones. There's a lot of bad ones. Camera Head, he represents the worst, probably like close to the worst this series can get, which is just let's take a guy and jam a thing into his body, and there you go, Cenobite.
Yep.
That's him. And he's like, it's such a stupid look.
It seems like it's exactly the kind of thing you would expect to be created by the movie studio that
Right.
gave no fucks, right?
And the fact that he's got like one-liners.
Yeah.
Ready for your close-up, Joey?
It's so bad. Like, it's such shit. But my actual worst Cenobites, I have a tie. My two least favorite Cenobites, and they're so nothing that you probably are going to have to strain to even know which ones I'm talking about.
Okay.
They're in a couple of the entries. They are Stitch and Bound. So the first time I noticed them was in Hellraiser Deader.
Okay.
They show up at the end because remember Pinhead shows up and he's got like the two guys with him. So Stitch is the one where it's like the face is like sewn in the middle and it has like no eyes, and I don't think it has a mouth either. It's like some weird Stitch design. And Bound is the one where it's just like a dude with like bondage gear over his eyes and his mouth. That's what they're referred to. Yeah. Stitch and Bound. I think they show up maybe in I think they show up in a few other entries, but like they literally do nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
They have no dialogue. They're not intimidating. They're stupid looking. They just show up. They exist just so that when Pinhead shows up, he looks more intimidating.
He's got a crew.
Yes.
Yeah.
They suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just crap. Yeah. They're nothing. I don't know what their background, you know. As a professional background actor myself, I can state that they're not adding anything to the overall visage of the scene, you know. So yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, at least they're not taken away from it though. Like,
they just suck. I noticed them because I was like, I remember watching it and being like, they don't do anything. Yeah. I'm like, they're like 5 seconds of screen time. I'm like, why even have them there? Like, so at least like Chatterer has moments where he's like intimidating, you know. He's like intimidating people, right? Like even Butterball from the original is like, they're like slug thing. The female Cenobite talks. Like there's so many better Cenobites. Like they suck. Yeah. They do nothing. They're just the prop Cenobites you have for when you need to fill out the background Cenobites, you get Bound and
We've
Stitch.
got too much dead space back here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So